Monday, Dak Prescott ended his holdout by officially signing his exclusive franchise tag. He will earn just over $31 million in 2020 and is now expected to participate in training camp. The Cowboys and Dak still have until July 15th to get a long-term deal done. So, Shannon, was this the right move for Dak to sign a tag so soon?
Well, Skip, I always thought he was going to sign the tag. And I still believe he's going to play under the tag this year. It just seemed hard for me to believe that they built up so much bad blood that they would get it done now, when if that was the case, you didn't need to build up this bad blood. And I know everybody says the contract will get done when it gets done. And when it comes up to the 8th, I guess July 13th, 14th, because it has to be done by the 15th for Eastern time, that's when both parties will sit down and try to hammer out something. Skip, I never thought Dak was going to miss training camp, but I did always thought he would miss OTAs, he would miss the mini camps. And what hurt Dak, Skip, was COVID, because nobody was going to mini camp. Everybody was doing it virtually. So really, he's not being on the call, is not being in the Zoom meetings and things. That's something totally different than his absence, physical absence, not being present, Skip. Mm-hmm. So I think that really hurt him this pandemic, because now all of a sudden they weren't having OTAs, they weren't having minicamp and not having Dak there. So I think that dealt him a blow also. But and when they signed Andy Dalton, that took a little bit of the power that Dak had, because Andy Dalton, whatever you may think of him, he's been a starter since he's been in the league. Andy Dalton has thrown for 4,000 yards. Andy Dalton had gone to the Pro Bowl. Andy Dalton had won a division. So he's a very quality guy that the Cowboys like, well, if Dak doesn't want to come to camp and whatever, we feel very comfortable going forward with Dak. But for me, Skip, when I look at it, they got the July 15th is the deadline. Mm-hmm. So we're about, 3 weeks away. We're roughly 3 weeks away, Skip. Maybe a little less, 18, 19 days. Yeah. So that's where we are. So we'll see how much progress, because seemingly you thought this was, like Jerry said last September, it was imminent. Imminent means future, present, right around the corner. Imminent days, yes. Yeah. And so from right around the corner in September to here we are, July 15th, and nothing has really gotten done. So it's going to be very interesting to see, Skip, but it's just hard when you build up so much bad blood, distrust. Jerry thought they had a deal. And then after the first 3 games, you say Dak agent says, nah, we need a little bit more money. And Jerry's like, oh, hell no, I can't believe it, forget it. And so that seems to be where we are now, Skip, is that we go from getting a deal done in September to here we are in almost mid-July before something actually gets done. If a deal is to get done, not the franchise tag, because he signed that, but I'm saying a long-term deal.
So your bottom line is?
Right, I believe he plays on the franchise tag.
So do I. But I have a different take on why they signed so early. Okay. Because they could have pushed it all the way to July 15th. They could go past July 15th. They had the ability to hold out of whatever training camp there is, however many preseason games there is. For that matter, they had the Le'Veon Bell authority. If you wanted to take it, you could legally hold out of real games if you wanted to. Okay. So
not $2 million a game, Skip.
Yeah, okay. All right. But that's okay. I got you. But the point is, I believe this was a rather desperate PR move by Dak and his relatively new agent, because I think they believed they were losing in private with Jerry because the blood had gotten so bad after what happened early in the season. Nobody was budging 1 inch, 1 penny off. They wanted this, and Jerry and Steven said, no, this is as far as we're going to go. So they basically made a public statement whereby they said to Cowboy Nation, hey, we did the right thing. We signed early. They placed the tag on us. We accept the tag. Right. We give up our ability to hold out through training camp and preseason games. And we are now all in for the 2020 football season. Right. So now it's their turn to do the right thing by giving us the money that we have asked for before July 15th. Because now it's like, let's put the ball back into Jerry Stevens' court. Let's make them make a choice now, with Cowboy Nation saying, well, listen, Dak, he's relented. He has signed, sealed, and delivered that you have placed the tag on him, and he will play under the tag if so forced to play. But in this case, when I talk about they want Jerry to pay them what they want, The one number that has not been made public even to this moment is exactly how much they are asking for.
Correct.
I believe it's somewhere up in the 40s. I believe it's 40 plus million per year. I'm not sure if it's 4 years, 5 years. I don't know that. I just think that their strategy from the start was to get the kind of money that they believe Patrick Mahomes will ultimately get, because they wanted to be paid commensurate with Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, even after they get their new big money deals. So they're trying to preempt the news of those deals by saying, we get so much more than people thought that once they get their money, we're at least in the ballpark with both of them.
Right.
It's a lot of money for Dak Prescott, especially coming off an 8-8 season in which he did not make the Pro Bowl. And down the stretch, he stunk it up at New England and he stunk it up at Philadelphia in the make or break game of the year. So it's harder for him to sell himself right here, right now. You always say right place, right time. And he is possibly free, except there's this thing called the tag.
Right.
Well, now Jerry's saying, well, I can force him to play under the tag for 31.4. And if we have to, we can do it again next year and he will play for 37.
Right.
Well, if he's asking for, let's say, 42, I don't know what it is, but up in the 40s, well, obviously Jerry's doing the math saying 31, 37, I'll be better off if I just tag him the next 2 years. I'll save a lot of money.
But Skip, that eating so much into your cap, though, Skip. That's hard dollars against your cap. And see, here's what Dak's argument is, Skip. He says, okay, I understand Russell, and I understand Wentz, and I understand Goff and Aaron Rodgers. But all of those guys had 2 years left on their deal when they made them, at the time, the highest paid player.
That is true.
I have no years left. So for you to put something in line with Jared Goff is not going to work. Because Jared Goff has 2 years left, I have no years left. Skip, you mentioned if they franchise this year, it's $31 million. If they franchise him next year, $37 million. If they franchise him a third time, $54 million.
That won't happen.
What they could do is transition him, and then that would be $45 million. So, Skip, if you just say the 3 franchise tags over 3 years, Skip, that's $122 million. I think Dak says that's the starting point of where I want to be in this negotiation.
I agree.
And I said, Skip, they said Jared Goff number. I said he's going to be looking for 10% more than what Jared Goff got. I think Goff got 113, so 10% more is right in line with what I've been saying about 121, 122. So that's what Dak's argument is, Skip. He said, hold on. Sometimes you give up less because you're getting the guarantee, Skip. You're getting the security right now. Dak's like, I got no security. I had to go play. And so you want me to give you a discount? Dak said, I already gave you a $100 million discount. Remember, I was a 4th-round draft pick. I saved you $100 million your first 4 years. Because imagine if Dak, Skip, had come in with one of them big old contracts. So Dak says, hold on, you paid me $400 my first year, and I was Rookie of the Year. Where was the raise? I didn't get no raise with that. And then I come back the next year. When Zeke was going through what he was going through, I still went 9-7. And then I come back after that and win you another division. And I ain't get no raise. I ain't get nothing. And now I'm completely free. I'm completely out of contract. I got no more contract. And you say, oh, Dak, do your boy this solid. Cut me a discount. Dak said, no, I can't even do that, Jerry. I can't. I can't even good contract do that.
Yet Jerry, the report from his side of this equation is that on the table right now is $36 million a year for 5 years. I think it's $110-ish million guaranteed, which is pretty great because it would immediately make you the highest paid quarterback right now.
Right.
Is it Mahomes? No, it's not Mahomes' money.
Dak don't want Dak said, I just turned 27. I want to get 4 years because what's going to happen? Because see, I know what y'all do. You think you're slick. Because if I sign a 5-year deal, Skip, guess what? Y'all could possibly franchise me. That's 6 years. Franchise, that's 7 years. Nah, I want shorter term deals. So that way, if you franchise me, I'm still at the front end of the 30s, Skip, and I'll still be able to get that big money. So this is what I want. Y'all, hey. Y'all had y'all fun. Skip, the man made $4 million in 4 years for 2 divisions, 2 division titles, and a Rookie of the Year. That's better than anybody in this draft class.
Okay.
And now y'all want to give him chicken feed.
And yet, he is the quarterback of America's team. And all of a sudden, the bandwagon is rolling for my team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, run it.
All of a sudden, everybody wants to play for Dallas. Jamal Adams wants to play for Dallas. We're going to talk about this later, but Clowney wants to play for Dallas. Am I right?
Fast track, hey, that fast track ain't gonna do nothing but run off the tracks. Fast track ain't gonna do nothing but run off the track.
People are just lining up. Can I play? Can I play?
Okay.
And again, Dak Prescott last year had a dozen national TV endorsements and commercials. A dozen. Could that go up to 15, 17? That's what happens when you're the quarterback of that team with that star on your helmet.
That's what happens when you play good football under that team. With that team, with that star on your helmet. Because what if Quincy Carter had no commercials like that? Why not? He had no commercial like that?
Nope, he did not.
Okay, then.
Well, I've told you, Dak is a top 10 quarterback, but I have him ranked 10th. Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? Well, obviously, you would say a big, flat,
Hold on. That ain't just goes to Dak. Nobody, from Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady to Drew Brees, nobody is better than my homeboy.
So all of a sudden, I see Dak's MVP odds as high as, one book that I saw in Las Vegas had him as high as third.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Third? It's like the bandwagon is about to roll right over everybody because, wait a second, he suddenly has CD Lamb. It's the CD syndrome. And people are saying, wow, Dak's got it all. He might have the 3 best receivers in all of pro football. And you
doing so good.
Okay, but that's what a lot of people are writing that.
No,
Go look it up. Yes, they are. They're all writing that.
Ain't nobody wrote that.
And you know what? That could be the case.
Ain't nobody wrote that.
Hey, wait a second. You got CD as your number 1. You got an emerging Gallup as your number 2. And now Amari is a 3? Really?
So in other words, are you saying so they're better than what Tom Brady has?
They might be. I can't argue the tight ends if we're just doing wideouts.
You're just doing wideout.
Okay.
So they're better than Godwin, Evans?
The 3 versus the 2, maybe. Just maybe.
But because Godwin and what you call him are so much better than your outside guy, so if you want to throw Chris Humphrey or whomever the little slot guy is,